Hello guys and welcome back to another skill point guide video for Total War Warhammer 3 on Immortal Empires. Today we'll be going over Skrag. Skrag's a little bit of a different one. He's not great at anything, but he's not bad at anything either. He does buff Gorgers quite a bit with the Cauldron of the Great Maw here. Gorgers can get some regeneration, some base weapon damage, as well as armor piercing damage. And the entire campaign, or battle map, excuse me, as long as Skrag himself is killing units on the battlefield. And with him being a spellcaster, I do like to go down his magic line first. Do like to grab Root Marcher and then just go down. I do like to get Bone Crusher, get Blood Gruel for that heal per second for him personally, because he can hold a little bit in melee. You just have to look out for missiles because he basically has no armor there. I do like to grab Brain Gobbler. That minus 16 leadership is a really good debuff, and it could just be enough to get a lord or unit to break to turn the tide in terms of getting those army losses there. Now going down the rest of his magic line, I do like to grab Troll Guts and the Maw, as well as meat reserves, because even though it is when increasing, he has many ways to basically, as long as his winds of magic is increasing, he's always gonna basically have 100 wins of magic over the end turn. I do like to grab extra ingredients. That way, when he's in melee, he also will have a power recharge. He can get a power recharge rate as well as unlimited winds of magic for 30 seconds, and it will recharge as long as he is in melee there. Don't really care about Toothcracker. It does work on all units in a area of an effect, and the range is 35 meters. It's not bad, but I really am not too worried about it. I do grab it just because there are some other points that I don't really care about, and I do like to put 2 points into Brain Gobbler. And Bull Gorger, I just kind of wait to the very end because it's not very necessary in my opinion. But after going down his magic line, it's actually kind of all these random, I guess you call it like special skills. I'm not really sure what to really call this section. But I do like to grab the Driven by Visions for the campaign movement range. The Prophet of the Great Maw is good for the cooldown, as well as the Winds of Magic generation 2+ turn. So even if as long as he's not in a region where the Winds of Magic is super negative, he'll be getting that positive Winds of Magic, so it's increasing. So with that meat reserves, that's 15%. Toothy Nobblers, that's up to 20%. Walking Larder, that's 30%. So you're up to 50% Winds of Magic as long as it's increasing there. Now, the other ones, I do like to grab the Whirling Sunblades just to make him a little tankier. Definitely like to grab the Lookout Nobblers and Lucky Nobblers for that missile resistance as well as physical resistance. And since he is a spellcaster and a larger target, he will be targeted by the enemy. So I do like to grab him some spell resistance as well. Now, that's a lot of points just for Skrag. That's over half of his points already. And as well as the Tolerant to Toxins, getting him more hit points, because again, he's a large target. He doesn't have much armor, so basically any unit, armor piercing or non-armor piercing, is going to be able to affect Skrag. He doesn't have that many or have much melee defense, so you got to protect him with a lot of resistances and a lot of hit points. Now after that, I do like to go down his red line. It's not a terrible idea to just grab a few points into healer just for some actual casualty replenishment rate. Other than that, I'm not really too concerned with his blue line. There just isn't a whole lot going on for him down there other than potentially some campaign movement range and Masters of the Meat. But I'm really not too fussed about it in all reality. I do like to grab the Beast of the Mountain to buff some more of his Gorgers, as well as the Bull Charge, just because early on you're going to have a lot of Ogre Bulls. Now granted, if you play with the one button respec like I do, down the road you can, if you want to get some Morphane Cavalry, or you want to do some of the Ogre Kingdom's missile units, or even just Iron Guts or Man Eaters, because they're just the tougher variants of the Ogre units there. But it's more about the Gorgers. And going down the rest of his red line, I do like to grab the Ravenous Fighters for some missile resistance, melee attack, and weapon strength, and then Stand Your Ground just to buff those units when he is in melee, because again, he's not terrible in melee. It's just that he's super weak to a lot of things. I do like to grab the Gorger Onslaught afterwards. Just in case he ends up getting caught in a melee, he needs a way out. He needs to get out and cast a heal, but he keeps getting caught in melee. Summoning this Union of Gorges can just hopefully, anyway, for you in your campaigns, get him out of a bind where it kind of stops the enemy from just attacking him and just gets the enemy basically in a cluster with that spawn. The offer to the Great Maw cost, I'm not really worried about the 20%. Same with the Cavern Dweller. Other than the dwarves, like, I don't really expect to have to deal with too many armies jumping. You got the Empire to the north, you got the Vampire Coast. Granted, you have some greenskins, but more times than not, they're not doing a whole lot of jumping unless you're in the mountain regions. They can do it out in the Badlands here, but usually Malagor has them kind of dealt with. Skaven have them dealt with. Skarbrand I've even seen a few times kind of deal with them there. So it really just kind of depends. Or if you even move more west, you don't face a whole lot of units, or excuse me, a whole lot of armies that will underway jump. Not to mention, I kind of avoid going west with Skrag, just because if you end up going west, you're going to end up fighting Skaven, more greenskins, but more terrifying is the Wood Elves. I do not like fighting Wood Elves as the Ogre Kingdoms, because they basically kick everything that the Ogre Kingdoms have in the ass. They got missile units, they got infantry that can hold the Ogre Bulls at bay, they got strong single entities. Just the Ogre Kingdoms and ogres in general are just not very well suited to deal with the high elves. Now, anyway, finishing his skill tree, I do like to grab Mentor. And his last 3 points, kind of up to you. You can end up, buffing that if you want to. I usually don't. I don't mind going down with some growth, or maybe even getting some research. But I really, it kind of depends. If you want to buff some other units, you can. But I just typically I never have had problems with food. So in terms of offering them to the Great Maw, it only costs 10 food. So you're only saving. It's only going from 10 to 8. Like, you're just not going to run into meat problems. You shouldn't. Between your camps, fighting battles, generating meat, all that kind of stuff, you should be fine. You shouldn't be worried about your meat consumption. You should be fighting enough. You should be getting it from camps, all that kind of stuff. It'll be okay. Even with the locker, like with the meat tree here, you can generate meat for your armies to offset the units in your army. There's just so many ways, and again, dropping it from 10 to 8 is not that big of a deal. But definitely let me know down in the comments how you guys level up Skrag. He's kind of a weird one. It's nothing really set. There's a lot of different things you can do, and again, I'm always curious to know how you guys kind of go about leveling up your legendary lords in your campaigns, whether it's the same as me, differently, or different compared to mine as well. I'm always, again, interested to hear. But don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys are enjoying the content. And until the next video or live stream, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.